Every once in a while, the MMA world gives us a matchup so strange, so random, and so unpredictable that fans can't help but say, wait, are they actually serious? And that's exactly what happened when Reinier de Ridder, the cold, calculated Dutch submission machine, suddenly found himself tangled in a weird dance of negotiations with none other than Paulo, the eraser Costa, a man who treats fight contracts like Tinder matches. Maybe, but only if the lighting's good. Yeah, this story isn't about punches and kicks. It's about excuses, stipulations, and the fight that never even made it to the cage. Reinier de Ridder was fresh off a monster win. He had just taken down former middleweight champ Robert Whittaker, extending his streak to 4-0 inside the UFC. The man was on fire, calm, confident, and laser focused. He thought, alright, time for a little rest, maybe a short vacation, but then his phone buzzes. The UFC says, hey, how about Anthony Fluffy Hernandez in Vancouver? Winner gets a title shot. Reinier didn't even blink. Why not? He said, let's go, because that's what fighters do. They say yes. No games, no demands, no drama. He went straight back to the gym, training like a madman. Cardio, wrestling, striking everything dialed up to 11. Because Fluffy isn't just a funny nickname, Hernandez is a cardio freak who can drown opponents under pressure. Reinier knew he had to be ready for a war. But then, plot twist, just a couple of weeks later, the UFC calls again, and this time, it's bad news. Fluffy's out, injured, gone. The Vancouver main event suddenly had no dance partner for Reinier de Ridder. Now, any other fighter might have said, cool, I'll wait for the next one, but not Reinier. He told the UFC, keep me on the card, I'll fight whoever you've got. That's how you know the guy's built different. He's not about social media beefs or meme fights. He's about fighting, period. So now the UFC has to find a replacement fast. Enter Paulo Costa fresh off a big win over Roman Kopylov. Costa was back in the headlines. The Brazilian powerhouse with the muscles of a superhero and the logic of a soap opera villain. The UFC thinks, perfect. Costa versus de Ridder main event. Fireworks guaranteed chaos. Fans were hyped. Media was hyped. Even de Ridder was hyped. But then Costa opened his mouth. Reinier later explained what went down. Costa would have been fun, he said. The build-up alone would have been cool, but the guy had too many conditions. And oh boy, did he first. Costa didn't want to fight at middleweight. He wanted a catchweight because apparently dieting is harder than fighting. Then he didn't want 5 rounds. He wanted 3. That's right, a main event, headline fight, and Costa's like, can we wrap this up early? It's like showing up to a marathon and asking if you can stop at mile 5. Reinier's team basically said, dude, if you don't want it, fine. Next. And that's when Reinier dropped the quote of the week. If you get an opportunity like that, don't be a betch, just say yes. That's when Brendan Allen stepped in. No drama, no conditions, no extra salt. Just a yes, I'll fight. Boom, new main event locked. Now, on paper, Allen might not have Costa's name value, but he's ranked higher number 9 in the division compared to Costa's number 13. And honestly, sometimes the rankings don't matter as much as the story. De Ridder wanted a fight. Allen gave him one, Costa gave him a headache. But here's the fun part, De Ridder and Allen actually go way back. Both trained at Killcliff FC in Florida, one of the best MMA gyms in the world. Same roof, same coaches, same teammates, but apparently never the same Matt De Ridder said I went up to him, said hi, and offered to train together, but he didn't want to. Now they'll get to do that training in front of millions, under bright lights, with punches instead of handshakes. MMA logic, if we don't spar in the gym, we'll spar in the cage. Stylistically, this fight is a dream for grappling fans. Both men are monsters on the ground, slick, technical, and ruthless. But De Ridder believes there's a key difference. He said, Allen's grappling is good, but it gets a bit sloppy. He falls off the back too often, and he fades in later rounds. Translation, the man starts strong, but doesn't finish breakfast. De Ridder knows Allen can dominate early, we've seen it. Against Nasruddin Imavov and Anthony Hernandez, Allen looked like a beast in round 1, but by round 3, it's like someone hit the low battery warning, and De Ridder, he doesn't fade. He grinds you down like a machine made of willpower and jiu-jitsu. Meanwhile, Costa's probably tweeting something about UFC politics or posting gym selfies with cryptic captions like, they don't want me to fight at my true weight, classic Paulo. But here's the truth, de Ridder's words hit home. Because in today's MMA world, where everyone's chasing clout, it's rare to see someone who just says yes. He doesn't care about the drama. He doesn't care who the opponent is. He just wants to fight, win, and move closer to that gold. Now, let's be real, if de Ridder beats Allen, that title shot becomes almost impossible to deny. 4 UFC wins, a potential 5th in a row, and he's calling out the top dogs. The man's not just winning, he's dominating. He's got the calm of Georges St-Pierre, the precision of Khabib, and the dry humor of someone who's seen too much weirdness in fight negotiations. And in a world where everyone's playing games, de Ridder's honesty is refreshing. He's the kind of guy who'd say, I'll fight your favorite fighter and then help him fix his technique afterwards. So now we've got a main event that wasn't supposed to happen and a fight that never did. Costa missed his chance, Allen stepped up, and de Ridder once again proved that real fighters don't talk their way into history. They fight their way there. And somewhere Dana White is probably shaking his head like, if Costa just said yes, we could have had a classic. But hey, that's the fight game. Unpredictable, chaotic, and always entertaining. At the end of the day, this whole saga reminds us why we love MMA. It's not just about who throws the hardest punch or who lands the slickest submission. It's about the personalities, the chaos, and the stories that unfold when egos collide and opportunities knock. Sometimes fighters step up, sometimes they back out, and sometimes they teach us that the best fight stories are the ones that almost happened. So when Reinier de Ridder walks into the cage in Vancouver, it's not just another fight. It's a message to Costa, to the division, and to anyone who's afraid of a real challenge. Don't be a diva. Don't make excuses, just say yes. Because in this game, saying yes can change everything. And who knows, maybe one day we will get de Ridder versus Costa, no catch weight. No conditions, no drama. Just fists, skill, and pride on the line. Until then, we'll be watching, because this is MMA, where the headlines never sleep and the chaos never stops. This has been your fight recap, full chaos, zero chill, and all heart. Don't forget to like, drop a comment, and hit subscribe, because next week's madness, yeah, it's already loading.